I'm Nova. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you're not. Today, I kind of want to talk about a subject that can be happy just as good as it can be bad, and it's kind of about like time and how time flies. Because the other day, I was looking through my memories on Snapchat. And if you don't know what Snapchat is or memories, it's pretty much just pictures you used to take of yourself and moments that you had that you taken a picture of. And I don't know, I went through that earlier, and it's crazy how fast time actually flies. Like, it's genuinely so crazy. And just looking back, even a year ago is insane to me, because it's almost like where does time go, you know? It's like at the time, or even now, you just think about, oh, okay, well, today's today, tomorrow's tomorrow, but pretty soon tomorrow is just like lost in time, and tomorrow turns into like a month, and then a month turns into a year, then it turns into years. And it's crazy to think about, especially when, you know, I look back on who I used to be and who I am now, and like the things I've been through, and the good times, the bad times, and in between times, and where I was and where I'm at, or where I still am. And it's crazy to think about how fast it goes by. And especially with my time personally, I feel like I haven't used my time to my to my advantage. And this is Buttons, by the way. She's my bird translator, but it's kind of late, so she may not translate much, so I'm sorry to all the birds out there. She can't even translate that. But on a more serious note, I feel like I haven't used my time to my advantage, even though I know the situation that I'm in, right? And I have the time, but not the resources, right? And it's crazy that time just flies by so fast. And just like seeing people grow, yourself, animals included, it's crazy. And all you can really do is just sit back and think about it, because that time is gone already. And all you can do is just be like, wow, just look at a photo that's only just a moment, like a second, a millisecond, and just look back on those moments. Or like maybe little videos, and just, you know, look at the good times that you took pictures of, and remember the bad memories that you had of the bad times. And it's insane, because pretty soon, like even right now, like the days that, you know, I wish where I want to be, one day I'll be there, and I'll be older, and I'll look back on, I guess, my time now, my time now and here, and where I'm at, like mentally, physically, when it comes to friends too, and my pets, and just think, wow, like at one point in life, I was there, but now I'm where I want to be, or maybe not where I want to be per se, but I'm somewhere different. And it's crazy to think about how time can go so slow that it goes by so fast at the same time. It's really weird how that works. And like also expectations that you have of yourself. Like when I was younger, maybe like 18, I know I briefly talked about this, but when I was 18, I didn't think I would still be where I'm at now. you know? And it's weird because I feel like I was just 18 yesterday, or maybe not yesterday per se, but it feels so far, but it felt like yesterday. And it's so weird to just think about that. Or even me just being 20. Like, I turned, 20. I turned 22 in February. And it's just so weird to think about how I'm already 22. Like, it's insane to think about. And it's also insane to think about, like, when I'm 25, where will I be? Will I still be here? Will I be where I want to be? Or will I be somewhere else? And I'll just look back at this day, and maybe even this video, and point and think, like I said earlier, wow, like, things changed. And it may not always be for the better, which, fingers crossed, I hope it's for the better, for everyone, including myself. At the same time, it's just like, wow. Or maybe it won't change, which I hope it does. I hope it does. Fingers crossed. But, it's crazy to think about how, like, things just get older, and yourself too, and things, you know, everything still changes, even if it still stays the same, because there are little things that change. Things get older, time dulls things, but, you know, it also can make it better. And the beauty of it all, maybe a sad type of beauty, but, or maybe bittersweet. Maybe that's the right word. But it's something so sad to look on. But at the same time, it, you know, with time comes good things, or all good things take time. And I like to think that, you know, as time passes on, as I get older, by the seconds, by the minutes, by the hours, by the days, that something good will come from it, you know? Something that's worth being like, I'm glad I spent my time on that. Like, I'm glad that where I was, and now I spent time doing that thing. And whether it be spending time with my birdies, or even with myself or my friends, etc., that it's worth it. Which, you know, always spending time with my friends and my animals are always worth it. Though, I guess in this sense, I'm more so mean. Like, I guess what I do when I'm not with them, you know? When I'm just like, hi. When I'm like by myself, and when I just do things with my free time. Which I wish, with, like, so much positivity, because, you know, be careful what you wish for, alright? That, you know, I eventually have the opportunity to have that freedom that I still have, but have the freedom so I can do what I love to do, which is make people happy and explore the world, different cultures, with my birdies, with my babies, and, you know, make people happy and just have a comfortable life. Like, that's something that I wish I could do more of my time with. Like, just spread positivity, because that's one thing I love doing. Like, I may have one of the worst days of my life, but if I can see someone just smile or make someone laugh with my stupid drier than Sahara Desert jokes, it's like, it makes me happy. Like, seeing smiles on somebody's face, or do a kind deed, because that's something I also want to do more of. Like, just give back. That's something I really want to do, and at the moment I'm not really able to do. Whew, I gotta sneeze. Ooh. Sorry. Whew. The allergies are horrendous right now. But yeah, that's something I want to do. I just want to give back to people. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I apologize. I need to take my allergy pills because if you can't tell, which I can, because I also deal with them, allergies are not. I'm struggling right now. But yeah, I want to give back to people, especially people who. I'm sorry, that may be gross, but I don't know where tissue is at. But yeah, no, I want to give back to people, especially who've helped me out when it comes to my tough times, or not even tough times, but people who just helped me out and they didn't really even know it. Because there are a few people I definitely know, and I wish with everything positive that I could give back to them. And I know the thing is that they help me in ways that they don't even know, and they don't expect anything because they don't know to help me, you know? I feel like everyone has that one person that you're like, well, without you in my life, I wouldn't be who I am today, and you've only just made me better, like a better person, and you've made me someone I can be proud of, you know? Especially when it comes to, like, challenging people. Like, I like when I have people, well, when I have friends who challenge me, but in a good way. Not in a way of like, well, why do you believe that? But in the sense of like their viewpoints. I really like that, especially because I'm someone who's really kind of just been, for the longest, I've kind of just been me. Like, I've had friends, but I didn't connect with them in the way that I do with the friend I'm currently talking about. And to have a friend like that who like challenges me in a good way and makes me a better person, it's nice to have. And I would like to thank that person, and there are also other people too, but that's like that's kind of like the easiest one I can explain. So that's how I'd like just like give them appreciation. Hi, beautiful. And just like I said, just give back to. But I hope when it comes to like me personally, when I get older, that, you know, my time treats me well, and I'm not, like I said, stuck in the same place, in the same situation, so I can grow more. Because I really believe that you can't really heal in a place you got, or you get hurt in. Whether that be, well, especially physically, but emotionally, mentally, stuff of that nature. And hopefully when the years come, hopefully not too many years, because I really don't want to be stuck in this situation forever. Like I said, I grow and I can inspire other people to, you know, grow too. And even if they're in the situation, or like I said, in the situation or similar, or maybe not even, I can inspire them to, you know, just inspire them and maybe even help them out if I'm in that position financially and if things work out. Because, you know, I don't believe that everyone, well, I guess, okay, this is kind of situational, but I also feel like, yeah, it's situational, but I feel like a lot of people out there don't deserve the stuff they're in, which I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people would agree with me on that, but I feel like also people, and you know, I'm just talking for the United States, I don't know other area or other countries, I haven't been there, but especially in the United States, I feel like people would rather watch you fall than help you while you're tripping. And I mean that in the sense of like, people are just so like guarded, and you know, I can't blame them for that, because I'm like that too, because the world is so scary and it's so dangerous out there. So like I said, I don't blame them, I try my best to not fully be like that. However, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I'm open arms, because I'm not. Like, I'm really guarded. There are things I worry about all the time. Everyone has their own worries, for sure. And, you know, I may have been that person to where someone was tripping and I watched them trip instead of helping them up because of just, you know, between how I was raised and, you know, the world's scary, for sure. Like, I'm not fully gonna blame people for that, but I feel like when it comes to just, like, simple kindness, or when you clearly can tell someone is struggling, and I don't mean, like, you know, like, bad people, like, you can genuinely tell, but people would rather just walk away than, like, help, or just even ask, like, are you okay? Do you know what? I'll actually give you an example. So, I popped my tire a while ago. I was in a place I was not familiar with. And I was on the highway. I think it was, highway, freeway. It was a lot of no, the interstate? Anyways, I was in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't exactly, me being a bit dramatic, but, there was no place. It was just road, a side road, and that was it. And there was, like, no areas around me, right? Popped my tire, had my hazard lights on. I was listening to music. I was jamming. Like, I was bumping my music because I like to try to make a shitty situation a good situation, no matter what, because I can't help what happens. I just help how I control, or I can just, if I'm in a shitty situation, I try to make it better because I can't help something I don't know how to fix or something. Yeah. But there are all these people who just, like, you know, flew by me, right? Flew by me. I didn't expect anyone to stop, but there was just one guy. I will never forget this guy. There was this one guy who pulled up behind me. And, you know, I was kind of nervous. Because, you know, I wasn't, like I said, I was in my car listening to music. I wasn't expecting anyone to come. The tow company, you know, shout out to them. They saved my ass. But, oh man, on a real note, yeah, I wasn't expecting anyone to stop because I know people really don't care about other people, right? And this guy pulled up behind me. He was, you know, dressed in a suit and tie. He looked really fancy, a nice car too. And he came up to me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I just told him I had a flat tire, and he was like, "Well, do you have a spare? Because I can help you put it on." And I was like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a spare, but I really appreciate you doing that." And he was like, "Yeah." And then he told me, like, hope I stay safe and stuff, and then he drove off. Like, that was so kind. Like, I wasn't expecting anyone to do that, and there was this kind man who came up to ask if I was okay. Out of all of these cars who rolled past me, only one person stopped. And actually, I have another example too. My car kind of just, like, there was a electrical issue. I'm pretty sure the transmission was messed up, but I didn't know that at the time, right? So I was coming home from the store, and I go in the turn lane. Car just stops. It just stops. And I was like, shit. And I was nervous because every time I've had a pop car, I could get somewhere safe, but the car just stopped. Like, the battery worked, but the battery can't run the car, it helps, but it doesn't make it go forward or backwards. It stays. And I was just there, and I was getting honked at, I was getting fingers, I was getting everything. People were mad. But I had my hazards on, and I was out the car, so I tried to show them that, hey, I am not in the car. If I were to see that, or I feel like if anyone could put two and two together, it would look like the car is broken. It's down, because if the person isn't in the car, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, it ain't going nowhere. Eventually people started to go around, but there was this one woman too. She like stopped and she was like, hey, is everything okay? She's like, do you need help or anything? And I was like, no, but thank you, I really appreciate you checking in, because this is like the first time I actually ever, like, the car stopped. Because any other time, because this car was having that problem, however, I thought the problem was fixed because they said that something else, it was like the key thing, I believe. I don't really remember, to be honest with you, but the mechanic, or not the mechanic, I went to AutoZone, and they did these extra tests, and they were like, yeah, well, maybe this is the problem, because it looks like it's not giving what it needs to give. And mind you, my car's an older car, so I was like, okay, well, that would make sense. It wasn't it. So when I drove the car, I thought it was going to be fine. It was not fine, because obviously the car broke down. But anyways, yeah. She was like, like I said, she checked in on me, make sure everything was okay. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I really appreciate that. Because she was also the only person out of that whole time that checked in to make sure I was okay. Because I was honestly stressed. I wasn't... See, normally when I'm stressed, I try to make jokes of it. Because like I said, I try to make a shitty situation at least one I can laugh at now. And it was my first, like I said, over and over again, because I liked repeating myself, evidently. I was in the turn lane. There were, active cars just going. I couldn't move to the side, because I couldn't move the car. Like all the other times I've popped tires, or when the car did go out, I was either home, or I could move the car to the side, like I did with the pop tire from the store I told you previously. So, and those were the only times of all the times I've popped like a tire. Someone actually came, and I'm notorious for popping tires. Like, it's kind of sad, but you know, out of all those people, only one person from different occasions checked up on me. And that's like the type of kindness I'm talking about. It is. But yeah, like I said, that's the type of kindness I'm talking about. Just, you know, I know it's a lot easier said than done, because like I said, I struggle with it too. But a little bit of kindness goes a long way. Well, I don't struggle with the kindness part, but a little bit of kindness goes a long way when you see someone actively in trouble. You know, like my situation for the car. No one just stops a car. Not in the way I, like, you know, I'm not talking about like when someone's trying to rob you or anything. I'm just talking like genuinely. No one stops a car when you're in a turn lane. You could obviously tell that, you know, I was in a need of help, even though I also called the tow company to pick up my car, and they were on the way. But just even to check to make sure, even if you can't do much, just to make sure that person is okay goes a long way. Like when I tell you, those stories will always touch me. They always will. Because kindness goes such a long way. Like, and I know it's hard to think that not everyone is out to get you, especially in today's society, because like everywhere you turn, there's so many just like devastating stories. But like, it doesn't hurt to be kind, even if it's just like a simple hi to somebody, you know, or like holding the door for somebody. Like little acts like that. And you know, they may not seem big, but to somebody that will be big, you know. And you shouldn't do it because you want praise or something. You should just do it because, you know, you want to. Like, there's no monetary gain. You're just doing it out of the kindness of your heart. Or if you see someone who's struggling, you know, it doesn't take anything to go up to somebody and just be like, hey, you're okay. You can still be guarded, but you can still check up on somebody, you know? Because I feel like the world is just so, and like I said earlier, like, I understand the world is so, like, just evil these days, you know? But that doesn't mean we still can't do good as people. Because I feel like we hate so much, but we are all the same in certain aspects, you know? And we shouldn't let our differences be the reasons why we're so, like, mean to each other. And, you know, just don't share simple kindness, you know? Like, just because we may not agree on something doesn't mean we have to be mean or hate. I will never understand that. It's like, at the end of the day, we all bleed the same color. At the end of the day, we still have people that we call mother and father. Like, that's something we all universally share. It may not be, like, mother or father per se, but we still use the same thing to address people who are our guardians or our parents. No matter what, we still have mothers, fathers, uncles, aunties, grandmas, grandpa. Like, we have so many similarities, even though we are all so different. And I feel like we should celebrate our differences and come together on our similarities, right? And I know in a perfect world that, you know, would be possible. In a perfect world, it would be a lot easier said than done. Because I know the world we live in, everyone is so divided because everyone's like, it's my way or the highway. And on certain things, I can agree on. Certain things. Because obviously you don't want to be friends with a racist or someone who literally hates you for you. I obviously get that. Though when it comes to people who just, like, are so just ignorant and just so blissfully ignorant, and they would rather just live in that world instead of understanding that just because we don't agree on something doesn't mean we have to hate each other, you know? And it's just sad how we have those things that almost come in the way of who we are as people and help one another out. And it's sad to see because you see so many people who genuinely need help, but one way or another, people don't help. And, you know, that's more of like a, you know, how the world is, you know, prejudice, I think that's the right word, and like so many other things. That's a lot more convoluted than just like, you know. But I swear, if people just took a minute to just help their neighbor, because help doesn't always mean, oh, here's the money you need. It's just support. And just, you know, being there for someone in that moment of time. And it doesn't have to be forever. It could just be a moment. Because like I said, or if I didn't say it, I'm saying it now, moments last. Like I said with those two people. Like, and I even remember, like, the people who towed my car, like, because they were just so helpful and they were so nice. And I know, like, that's their job, but, you know, you can still be an asshole and have a job. But for the fact that some of the drivers that I've had actually genuinely, like, help me out when it comes to things like that. Like, actually, the guy who towed my car with that second story, when it comes to the woman who, like, asked if I was okay, he actually gave me an idea that, hey, maybe it's the transmission. I don't know shit from cars, okay? And I should, and I'm trying to learn it, believe me, because I think cars are very fascinating, and I want to learn more about cars, right? And I knew from the jump that it was an electrical issue because of what was happening. Because I know things that were happening couldn't have been the battery, but other people told me different things. And I'm not blaming it on them, because I know AutoZone people, it's like people who work at animal places. They're just giving you the advice and what they know from situations they've been at. And, you know, the person at the AutoZone was right. I mean, that did need to be fixed. However, that wasn't the reason why my car kept turning off randomly. But the driver, he told me that, you know, it could be the transmission. And I was like, I appreciate that. Because I told, like I said, I told him, I'm like, I've told everyone I need to tell. I've tried to explain this the best I can for people. But it doesn't seem anyone's really understanding what I'm saying, you know? And like I said, we conversated, and yeah, he told me it was the transmission. I'm like 90% sure it actually, yeah, 99% sure it was the transmission. You know, and he even told me, he was like, take what I say with a grain of salt, but I think it's this. And then he gave me the reasons why and stuff. But yeah, like, that was so helpful. Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have been like, okay, let's go. But no, he took the time to explain that to me. And even another driver, which he's my friend now, so, you know, he even helped me out before we knew each other. Like, the first time we met, I popped my tire. I think I've told this story 8,000 times, but I'm telling it again. I'm guilty. I'm telling it again. Especially for people who, like, don't know, you know? So sorry if, like, you know, I'm just, like, a record on repeat. But anyways, yeah. My closest friend, I met him because I got a pop tire. Like I said, I'm very notorious for getting pop tires, right? Yeah. My tire got popped, however, it was because I got a screw in it. Well, I didn't get the screw in it. Someone left a screw. But, you know, I'm not complaining, because they gave me one of my closest homies, one of my Ganomies. So, anyways, it's a me thing. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, and he told me, and he actually told me this more recently, too, because I got another pop tire in, like, April. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, it was April. Because that was the one with the guy that, like, those stories intertwine, right? Anyways, yeah, no, the first time I met my friend, my home dog, if you will, or actually, what was the alias I gave him on here? It was G. It was G, right? Or, okay, that would make more sense once another video comes out, which will probably be a long time from now, but I refer to him as G. He mentioned that I may not actually have to get a full tire. I could just get, like, a patch. I didn't know they patch tires, you know? I didn't know this was so in class, right? I told him, like, thanks, I appreciate that. Then he, like, told me a few other things. But even, like I said, recently, on, like, April, I'm pretty sure, you know, I caught the homie up, told him I needed a tow, and then, you know, he rolled up. And when he told me again, like, you may not need to get this, like, tire fixed, because, you know, mechanics like to, what we call, squeeze every penny out of you. I don't remember the word he said, but, you know, essentially, you know, you may not need a new tire. They'll say, hey, you need a new tire. Which I actually did end up needing a new tire, because I, like, I was a hash-slinging slasher that day. I feel so bad for my car, and I know it's an inanimate object, but, like, that car has been through so much. It's been through so much, and it takes me places. I think I do that because I'm like that. Like, we just have history, you know. Me and my car have history. Like, I feel like everyone's close to their first car, right? And that my car is like my baby, my innominate and anti-ominate. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, he told me that, like, you know, I may not have to get fixed, which, like I said, I did. I did. I needed a whole new tire because they couldn't patch that up, even if they tried. No Gorilla Glue was holding that bad boy together. But yeah, Like, even like simple like suggestions when it comes to certain things can go such a long way. Like I said, when I first met the homie, he didn't have to tell me that. He could have said, get your ass in the seat and let's take your car to your destination. But he didn't. I mean, he was also sweet, like, all over. Don't mean to glaze or anything. But yeah, on a, like, serious note, it doesn't take anything to be nice. Even if you're just saying hi to somebody, you know, like, or just, you know, a nice little wave, or hey, you know, like, people are just so closed off in this day and age. I don't think phones really help with that, because I feel like that too as well when it comes to friends. And plus, I just donate a minute of your time, less than that. If someone needs help, just help them. I mean, obviously, assist the situation. Depending, I know everyone, like I said, it's not easier said than done. I know. I know. But the world would be so much kinder, and spending time on this earth would be so much happier if people just took the time to be nice. And I know this kind of delved away from how time goes by, and that's crazy. Though, you know, I feel like I needed to add that in too. But I feel like that's everything I want to talk about today right now, because, you know, I think that's all I need to say. You know, be kind to yourself, especially too. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I hope you have a great day. I hope you drink water, eat your food. I'm Nola. Buttons is currently chilling. I hope you have a great day. Peace.